All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Alumni Speak Show. This is a production of the Morgan State University Entrepreneurship Alumni Chapter. I am your host, Sam Henry of GT Web Systems. I also serve as the Vice President and Programs Chair of our Alumni Chapter. And this Alumni Chapter is an official chartered chapter of the MSU National Alumni Association. So we were chartered last year in June. And our mission is to maintain a network of MSU alumni entrepreneurs with business opportunities and to serve as an entrepreneurial development resource for and students in the overall university and the surrounding community. So this event, or this series of event, the Alumni Speak Show, is a monthly show that we do to feature Morgan alumni who are businesses and have businesses in specific industries. And we ask our guests different questions about their business, their entrepreneurial journey, what challenges they faced, what trends they're seeing, and advice that they have for prospective entrepreneurs. And then we also open up the floor for Q&A. So this is a live show. If you're watching on YouTube, there is a chat box on the right, and you can go ahead and chime in and ask questions if you have them. And after we finish, this will be recorded on YouTube, and you can catch up with us there as well. So tonight, this is a special episode. We are doing a little preview of our Small Business Expo, and this is an annual event. This is our first time hosting a Small Business Expo, and it'll be this weekend, Saturday, October 29th, at Morgan State in the Earl Graves School of Business. From 8:30 to 4 p.m. We'll have several different workshops, about seven workshops, with all catered toward information that current business owners, seasoned business owners, and even prospective business owners need to know to advance and grow their businesses. So tonight we'll be interviewing one of our speakers, who is also a Morgan alum, Mr. Charles Jones. He is the CEO and president and CEO of C&S Jones Group. And so tonight we'll talk a little bit about his entrepreneurial journey and the path that led him from MSU to where he is today. And at the Expo, he'll be part of one of our customer development workshops for seasoned business owners, titled Doing Business with the Big Ones. So it'll be all about procurement and getting government contracts and using contracting as a way to grow and drive business. So we'll talk about that more this weekend in the panel. But tonight I want to go ahead and welcome him on. So Charles, are you there? Oh, can't hear you again. All right, well, while Charles is sorting out the audio, I'll go ahead and kind of brief you on who he is. So again, he's the president and CEO of C&S Jones Group, and also executive director of CSJG Investments LLC. C&S Jones Group provides innovative program and project management to government and corporate clients. They were named by the Baltimore Business Journal as one of the top 50 minority businesses in the Baltimore area for the past 4 years in a row. He is active with the Associated Black Charities and the Greater Baltimore Committee. He received his MBA from University of Maryland, and more importantly, his BS from Morgan State University. So Charles, can we hear you now? Let's test that out again.
Can you hear me now, Sam? How's that?
Great. Welcome to the show. Thanks for taking some time out to talk to us. Talk to me.
No doubt about it. Well, thanks a lot for having me, Sam. You know, I'm honored that you asked me to do the webcast, as well as to be a speaker at this Saturday's event. So thank you. I'm very honored to do that.
No problem at all. All right, so let's jump right in. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're originally from, and I guess how you ended up at Morgan?
Sure. Wow, making me go back now, Sam. I was at Morgan in the mid '90s. So I'm originally from New Jersey, Englewood, New Jersey. Shout out to all my Jerseyites out there. I came down to Morgan. My first year, I went to school at NJIT in New Jersey is technology school. During that time, it was ranked 20th in the nation for technology after MIT. But like a lot of young African Americans, I wasn't ready at that particular time. So, I pretty much came out my first year of school with 3 credits. So looked around. One of the only schools that would accept me on a conditional basis was Morgan State. I had to maintain a 2.5 grade point average my first year at Morgan for me to continue my education. So I came down to Baltimore in '94. Started at Morgan.
All right. And what was your degree at Morgan?
Sure. So again, a little history back in the '90s. So I came down to Morgan still thinking that I wanted to be an engineer. Did engineering probably for first couple of years at Morgan. But again, young African-American male at Morgan, kind of, it's probably is the best way to put it at that time. I was, 19, 20. So pretty much wasn't focused. So I looked around and said, hey, what can I do? Because I was maintaining the GPA that I had to maintain to stay in school. But I was like, what can I do to pretty much move quickly to get out of school? At the time, I discussed it with my then girlfriend, who's my current wife. And, I looked around. I said, you know what? Social work intrigues me. So I actually transitioned from being an engineer major to being a social work major. And then came out of Morgan in '99. When I came out of Morgan, I actually did a little bit of social work, but primarily was a mortgage broker and a realtor. So I did that all the way up to the right before the Great Recession, pretty much the Second Depression, because it was more than a recession. During that time, I was actually getting my MBA with the University of Maryland, University College. I was also working with a company called CoStar Group, which is a commercial real estate company, being a research analyst during that particular time.
Okay. So what led you from the social work aspect into the real estate?
Looking, really, it was dollars. It was income. Social work is really needed in our community, and mental health and everything that's going on right now around Black Lives Matter and police reform and what have you. But to pay, coming out of college owning student loans, to pay for me to, build the future that I wanted to build for myself and my family.
Definitely understandable. I think a lot of people coming out of college these days are probably even worse off as far as student debt. So a lot of people understand that. All right. So at what point did you start to envision entrepreneurship as your future? Was that in your mind around that time coming out of college, or was that kind of later when you kind of transitioned into entrepreneurship?
You know what? It was always in me while I was in Morgan. One thing that I used to do was invest in the stock market.
Okay.
Maybe I shouldn't say this, but I used to take student loan. I used to take the refund that we got from student loans, and I used to invest in the market, man. And during the '90s, the mid '90s, the rave was emerging markets. Then that crashed and tanked, and then after that it was a .com. Then that crashed and tanked. And then we moved over to that's when the housing market was really up and ramping. Then that crashed and tanked. So one of the things that I learned is whatever the herd is doing, you do the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely true. So how did you get from real estate into the government contracting space?
Sure. So during the time, right when I received my MBA, it was 2010. It was the height of the recession. There were no jobs on the market. I was transitioning out of the real estate world, and as we all know, the subprime mortgage and the predatory lending led to a lot of the crisis excuse me. So I looked around and I looked for opportunities, and one of the opportunities, sad enough, on one aspect, but was a benefit to me, was it was all these foreclosures that were on the market. So I looked around. Properties were not moving, they were not selling. So I looked around to see I could fill within the foreclosed real estate arena. So during that time, this is 2010. That's when I started my company, my present company, C&S Jones Group, in conjunction with my wife, who's a silent partner. And what we did was I looked to see who was what they were doing with the real estate. It wasn't moving at that time, and I knew that I would not be able to hold on to a substantial amount of real estate until the market recovered and sell the market. So I looked to see what other aspects in the industry that I can go out and fill. So one of the things was doing property preservation for HUD, Fannie Mae, and FHA. And what that was when the properties were foreclosed on, they went to asset managers, banks, or what have you, and then they had to, in turn, clean these properties up, gut these properties out, get these properties market ready, and turn them back over to whatever agency was holding the mortgage. If it was HUD, if it was Fannie Mae, FHA, or Freddie Mac. So that was a niche that we filled for probably the first good three years of the company's development.
Okay, cool. All right. So how did you find out that opportunity existed? Did you find out about that while you were already in the industry, and then you just capitalized on that opportunity, or how did you find out that was opportunity existed?
Sure. That was a great question. So one of the things is during my my studies, I always had the entrepreneur bug when I was getting my MBA. So I would go around and see where was growth for African American entrepreneurs, where were African American entrepreneurs really able to generate some revenue. So doing research at Black Enterprise Magazine, going on an SBA website, SCORE, and what have you. I saw that acting was a route that a lot of African Americans have taken and have really very successful companies throughout the entire supply chain, from technology to construction to services. So that was one thing that I said, that there's transparency there where there's not transparency in other arenas, where I would like to be a part of. And with that, I went and did my research, my due diligence.
Okay, all right. And so how did you transition from, or maybe not transition, but how did you add on? I mean, now your company does a lot of different types of contracts. I see on your website, you guys got a lot going on. So how did you, I guess, branch out?
We just hit the $10 million mark, actually, as of Monday. And I haven't even made this announcement as of yet. We just won actually our largest contract to date, which is, I think it's a 5-year, $3.6 million contract. So that contract actually taking the company to $10 million in government contract revenue. It was a long. Well, thank you, Sam. Thank you. It was a long, hard journey. For anyone out there, do not think that you're going to get rich overnight. That you're going to be able to really make a real dent overnight. It's like anything. It's a cycle. You go up, you go up, then you have a really good growth, then you have a little downturn, then you have a real downturn, then you're flat for a while. So our company, we're still a young company, 6 years old, and we've been through the highs and lows, and now right now we're on a growth run. So but there was some lean times in there. There were some times where the foreclosure market kind of dried up before we made the transition to other types of contracts. So, there were definitely some lean times in there. So the way that we actually were to make that transition was, we had past performers as a subcontractor performing this work with HUD, so HUD, Fannie Mae, and FHA. So it was actually prime contractors. There was a contractor out of New Hampshire that actually went up to New Hampshire to meet with the CEO and the VP of operations. There was a company out of, who else did we work with? A company out of Ohio. We worked with a company out of New York. Exercise and build upon and to go after some prime opportunities ourselves.
Okay. And were the companies that you were kind of networking with and working as subcontractors for, were they doing work in the Baltimore area, or were they doing work where
Sure. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sam.
Oh, go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
actually, sure. So actually, all these companies, and again, during the Great Recession, this is one of the problems that I did have, was that majority of the work was being performed in African American communities. So the majority of the work that we were doing was in Baltimore City, was in Woodlawn, was in PG County, was in Southeast DC. So I had guys that would go do the work, and at times I would tag along with them, and we go into some of these houses, and you just some people just left and just took whatever they could take, and just left. There was a lot of memories left behind, photo albums and clothing and furniture, and so that was one of the aspects of doing that really touched me, because at the end of the day I was like, these are family members that by something that Wall Street did, and but yeah, that's where most of the work was at. So we were doing work in Maryland. We were doing work in Northern Virginia, a slight bit of work in Northern Virginia and DC.
Okay, all right. And so, how was the process of growing from a company that just did the real estate contracts that you got started with, into doing the multiple different types of contracts that you do now? As far as staffing that, I mean, how did you go about finding the people that you needed to be able to take on larger and larger projects?
Sure. So one thing, our business model is that we do not bring on new people unless we have a position for them. A lot of companies, you have to stay lean. You have to stay lean. You have to try not to, in the beginning, take profit out of your company. I think where a lot of people go wrong is that they'll start a business full time and not have any safety net. So one thing that I'll tell people, start the business part time, start it on nights, weekends, early morning, do all of your due diligence while you still have a day job where you still have some income coming in, because you don't want to start something and then you have to worry about how you're going to pay your light bill, how you're going to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Myself, I have two small boys, 5 and 4. We're just out of preschool for one. One's still in preschool, so that's pretty much like a mortgage payment last year. Thing that I would tell people. So you have to be lean. You take on when opportunities present themselves. So, for instance, as you were saying, we do have a multitude of different types of contracts. The company currently has 3 divisions: program management, construction management, and facilities management. We're actually currently in 2 states. We're about to enter our 5th state with 60 employees across the United States. And with contracts, and when we're at the Expo on Saturday, I'll get a little bit more in depth into this. With contracts, one of the things is a misnomer is that, hey, I have a contract now. You could go to the bank and get financing for that contract, which that is not the case. Many times, especially if you're in a subcontractor role, you're looking for payment 45 days after you invoice. So you have personnel and payroll that you have to maintain up until that period until invoices start flowing in. So that's a challenge for all small businesses, actually all mid-sized businesses, small and mid-sized businesses, especially African American businesses. Baltimore City had their Mayor's Procurement Week, and the deputy director from the Minority Business Development Agency was there after the conference. And one thing he was saying was access to capital for African Americans is rough across the economic spectrum. He was saying companies that are generating $100 million in annual revenue, and they still access to capital. That's a real base thing, throughout our buyers. Parents trying to pay for college for their children. Access to finances is a real issue in our community, and
that's the number one thing we're going to tackle on Saturday. That's our first workshop, is the money workshop. So yeah, we'll have some insights for folks who are struggling with that on Saturday. So that was a good lead in. We'll leave them hanging a little bit so they can come on Saturday and get some solutions to the access to capital problem, and to the problems you were mentioning earlier about contracts. So moving on a little bit, we talked about some of the successes you're having now, talked about some of the challenges. What trends are you seeing in the government contracting space? How is it changing now that the economy is kind of recovering? We're not in that depression anymore, but we still have some economic challenges out there. So what trends are you seeing in your industry?
Well, right now, we're in an election cycle. We're in an election cycle. Both candidates are pretty polarizing to the other base. Maybe one maybe a little more so than the other. And I'll let people that on their own conclusions. But yeah, so right now we're in an election cycle. So that's tough. Right now things are a little haywire. Congress has not approved President Obama's budget. It hasn't moved to appropriations as of yet. That should occur in December because they all want to go home and spend the holidays with their family. So right now a lot of stuff is held up because the new budget for fiscal year 17 has not been approved. So once the budget is approved, then it becomes appropriations. So that's the big issue right now, and waiting for the election to be over to see who will be our next president.
So is that something that I guess folks in this industry kind of deal with every election, or is that something that could happen between the 4-year period as well? I guess like midterm elections as well, or is it just more so an issue during the presidential election years?
Correct. No, it's actually during midterm as well as midterm as well as the presidential. The presidential just gets a lot more publicity, a lot more media coverage. But the president gives Congress his budget, his or her, I'll say that, budget, and then it's up to Congress to approve things. They'll go back and forth and try to pull out some things or add some things. So during both election cycles, it's pretty much because during midterms, Congress is out trying to win their election, so they're not really looking to do anything that might strike a blow to them. So that's one of the issues. Then a few years ago we had sequestration. We had one of our first contracts, which was a small contract, but it was our first prime contract, and that was a part of sequestration. And they came back and said that this is no longer being funded, and the contract was taken away from us, and we had to inform the personnel that was working on that contract. So hopefully nothing like that will occur in the near future.
All right. So Let's talk tech for a second. I'm a tech guy, so I like to talk. I like to ask people about the different tech tools they use in their industry. So, what are some of your favorite, I guess, business management or project management tools that you kind of use on a day-to-day basis to help you run your companies?
Sure. So I can't go anywhere without my Surface. I utilize a Microsoft Surface.
Hmm.
It's a small PC, so you can do everything with that. So if I'm not in the office, if I'm in Starbucks, just trying to bounce some ideas off my head, I'm always utilizing my Surface Pro. Some of the things I use is Evernote to keep track of activities, uh, websites, or articles that I might read online. I'm able to capture those and come back to those. What else? What else? And what else? What else? What else? What else? Then there's some proprietary stuff that we utilize that's more so on the program management side for the DoD. Unfortunately, that's very secret, but just mostly Evernote, Office, a lot of Office stuff, but with Evernote, I'm able to transcribe all that stuff over to Office and vice versa. And with Surface, I'm on the go, so I have again a PC. So
How do you guys do like your invoicing and like billing?
so now we have a outsourced CFO, and
Okay.
that's one thing that I would definitely recommend to people. Get yourself a good CPA that does your tax returns. When you start growing, then they could do your monthly financials, so you can look back and see where you're going to. And that's one thing that the banks want to proceed with. But we use uh, to do all of our invoicing, to keep track of our financials, to make sure that our cash flow is where it needs to be at, so we can cover payroll until invoices are paid.
Okay, nice, nice. So, what is in store for the future? Any like future plans? Anything? Well, I know you got this new big contract that you guys just done. So, I guess
Correct.
where's the direction of CNS Jones headed?
Wow, that's a great question, Sam. The other day I sat back and wrote, where do I want to see the company in 20 years? So, one thing that we're doing is with the federal government side, we're a certified hub zone, but we're not in the 8A program. And one of the things when I first started that I wanted to do was get more past performance into the 8A program. The 8A program is a 9-year development program with the federal government. Then after 9 years, a company graduates. So a lot of companies move into the 8A, and if they have the past performance, they do extremely well financially for the company. Where a lot of young firms go wrong is that they get into the 8A program, and then they might start getting traction year 7, and then they will only have 2 years to go where they're able to bid on those particular contracts. For instance, my company, we're in our 6th year. So if I did that 6 years ago, we're really hitting our stride right now. We only have 3 years to go in the 8A program. So first quarter 17 is one of the we're moving forward to complete that certification, and then just hit the ground running with that, and just see how much we can blow out revenue for the company.
Awesome, awesome. So, who are your mentors? Who do you look up to in the industry? I guess who have you learned from?
I said I don't have a personal mentor where I can pick up the telephone and call them. But one thing that I have done was go to numerous trade shows, numerous conferences, and hear what successful African American as well as women owned and majority owned companies have done, and I have taken advice that they have given at these trade shows and incorporate that into my business practices.
All right, awesome, awesome. All right, so I got some quick closing questions, and these are a little bit more fun, less technical and
Okay.
heavy as the other ones. So, what is your favorite business book or resource, or
Favorite.
online resource or book?
Okay. All right. I can't say that I have one favorite business book. I'm an avid reader, Sam. Leaders are readers. If you want to go out here and
That's
lead,
true.
you have to read. But I'll name maybe my top 5. Okay,
All right.
not in the order of importance. So we have Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich: A Black Choice by Dr. Dennis Kimball.
I like that one.
Dr. Dennis Kimball.
Hmm.
The Millionaire Next Door by Dr. Stanley. I got the name correct. Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun by Reginald F. Lewis.
Oh yeah.
Let me see. One more for you, Sam. Let me see. Outlier by Malcolm Gladwell. Everyone needs to get that book. That's an awesome book. Shows you how to become an expert in the field. 10,000 hours, 3 hours a day for 10 years, and then you become an expert and proficient at whatever you're doing. So.
Yeah, those are good. Those are good. I've read some of those. I think there's Outliers I haven't finished yet, so I gotta finish that one. But yeah,
What about the Wealth Choice by Dr. Dennis Kimbrough? Have you read that?
yeah, I've read that one. I have that one, and I've got Reginald F. Lewis too. Yeah, those are definitely part of my collection.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
So I'm going to take you back away a little bit, but who was your favorite Morgan professor?
Wow, my favorite. Well, actually, I had 2.
Okay.
First one was Dr. Elmer Martin. Him and his wife founded the Great Black and Wax Museum. Dr. Martin passed away in the early 2000s, but outstanding professor, outstanding example of what a black man should be. Share things with us that me coming up where no one else has ever shared such information. So I would say Dr. Elmer Martin. Then the other one was Dr. Murray Brown. He was a gentleman from the Caribbean, and he was a wild professor, very revolutionary. So in my Morgan days, I was very revolutionary of thought. So I would say those were my 2 favorite professors.
All right, cool. Any final advice for someone who's watching right now, maybe a student, maybe an entrepreneur who wants to get started in government contracting? What would you tell them?
What would I tell them? First, do your homework. Second, there's agencies out here. I'm not going to say all the agencies. I'll wait for Saturday to inform people of that.
Okay.
To the workshop. But there's agencies out here that will assist you with getting your business plan together, will assist you with getting certified, will assist you. And these are no cost. And there's also individuals. There's a young lady, actually, I just helped her with some ideas. She's a Morgan alumni and actually got her MBA from Morgan as well. And she's started up a certification company where she would assist small companies to get certified and do all the background paperwork for them. So things like that. So.
All right, cool. All right. So how can we contact you? Can you give us your website, social media? How can we follow CNS Jones?
Sure. So one thing, if you come down to Ravens game, one of the contracts that we have is for Camden Yards, our facility managers for Camden Yards, as well as M&T Bank Stadium. So you may see some of my people down there working post game and during game for the Orioles.
Like doing what? Doing the vending or?
So doing facility management. So more so like custodial type of work.
Okay. Nice.
But one way, my website, the website and email, both very long, so I'll get that to you. The website is www.s as in Sam Group LLC.com. The email is charles@csjonesgroup.llc.com, and you can actually LinkedIn with me on LinkedIn. BA, and I'll be happy to accept your request, and we can have some dialogue.
Nice. Now I forgot to ask you, who's the S in CNS Jones? Is that your wife's name?
That is my wife. But
Okay.
she's a silent partner, not really doing anything. So I think I'm gonna make it Sons, Charles and Sons.
All right, Charles. Well, thanks again. You got a lot of good tips already, and I know you got a lot more in store for us this weekend. So thanks for tonight, and thanks for confirming to be with us on Saturday.
No doubt about it. And Sam, you know what? I want to say thanks to you because, I met you. We met a few years ago, and what you're doing for the community as something like this, reaching out to business owners and former alumni of Morgan and starting the Expo with the chapter. We need more young brothers doing things like that, and that's how we give back to the community. So, hats off to you, brother, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks. All right, so just to wrap up here, as we've been saying throughout the show, this weekend is our Small Business Expo, October 29th. We're starting at 8:30 a.m. at the Earl Grey School of Business at Morgan State. So we'll be there pretty much all day until 4 p.m. Workshops on money, workshops on, come here, Charles, talk about government contracting. We've got workshops on protecting intellectual capital and 7 topics altogether that are tailored to business owners. We've got experts coming. We've got a keynote speaker. Our keynote speaker is Melinda Emerson. She is America's small business lady. So she'll be giving us some advice. And we've got some exhibitors as well. So people that can assist you in different areas of your business. So please come out and join us this weekend. We also have future episodes of this show. So this is a monthly show, last Thursday of every month. So we'll be on again next month. So tune in and join us again. We also have a podcast. So our alumni chapter produces a podcast called The Bridge, and episodes of that come out every Monday. And if you are a Morgan alum and you're watching and you'd like to be a part of what we're doing with the alumni chapter, the chapter itself has general meetings every month, and you don't have to be in Baltimore. The chapter is open to alumni all over the world. We have a call-in number, so you can call in and join us via phone. Our meetings are the first Tuesday of every month. That means there'll be one next week. It'll be the first weekend in November. So join us for that. And if you'd like to get more information about us, you can reach us on our website, which is morganeac.org, morganeac.org. Well, that's all. Thanks for joining us, and good night.